Hello and welcome back to the Cursebreaker channel. I am your host, the Cursebreaker, and we are back with the rest of our Swiss stage discussion. I know I wanted to make individual videos for each one because it would be a little bit more digestible, but honestly the deadline is pretty much now, so I've got to make these videos today or they're going to be not worth anything. So we're just going to knock out the rest in this video right now. Here we go. We're going to start out with TL LNG. Now, I think this is a heavy LNG favorite game, I'm not going to lie, but TL, I think, are my kind of pet team to make an upset happen tomorrow. Alright, boom. First of all, LNG. They've got a really solid topside jungle. Very stable. Zika and Weiwei are the kind of players that are going to reliably get you through the early game when it's hard, and they're going to reliably get you, the lead you expect. So that is something that I think that is something LNG are really going to be reliant on if they are going to find success in this tournament. I think this is the year maybe for a potential Zika breakout. This guy has kind of always been on my radar, except ever since he got this position on LNG. So yeah, we'll just have to see if this is the year for him or if it's ever really going to happen. Gala Scout Magic at Worlds is very real, and I'm gonna not at Worlds necessarily, but I guess at any international tournament. So I'm gonna be interested to see what they can necessarily do. Yeah, and if the sauce is there, I think this is kind of a first or last team. They're gonna be very heavily vibe dependent. So we will have to see what the vibes actually are. And then for the good things that TL has going for them. Impact. He might be the best player on the Rift. That's something that is a serious consideration for people to take under their, chew that up. Think about that for a minute. It might be true. And now maybe it's Scout and maybe it's Gala. These are probably the real candidates. But I think Impact has got a solid case for saying he's the best player on the Rift. And I think that'll give his team a lot of confidence as well. Just him believing that, which I think he probably will. I mean, obviously they're pro players, they should all, but Impact might actually really believe that he's the best player in the Rift in this game. So we'll have to see. And then I think APA, this is a guy who can make magic sometimes, so I really want to see how he looks against an Eastern team that's not T1. I feel like he's kind of had to fight the dragon over and over again. Then, by the way, I just think T1 are really, really good versus Western teams. Not that they're like a particularly strong team. And then is there any core JJ magic left in the tank? I'm not sure there is. I sure do hope there is. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And that's all I've got for good for TL and LNG. Bad for LNG, the Scout drama is a big thundercloud looming over, and we're gonna have to see if Scout can get past that. I don't know if the team's been scrimming with Yagao or not, but that may just be the nail in the coffin for the team. Like, coming straight out the gate, they might be the team that doesn't make it through the Swiss stage from the East. And then Hong is he's a pretty volatile player. We'll just have to see how his form looks. He's kind of a psycho, so let's find out how he's playing, what his form looks like. I think the Scout drama is the big story here, that he didn't even really think he was playing until a few days ago almost. By days, I mean probably like a week and a half, but still, that's incredibly short notice for Scout. And then for the bad for TL, I think Umpty's going to need to step it up if they're going to be finding a win in this particular game. But I think he can. I believe in Umpty. Whereas the opposite, I guess, is Yeon is not somebody I've ever necessarily believed. The world's taglines make me believe. Please make me believe Yeon. And then yeah, NA near airport. It must be mentioned. And then yeah, Yappa could show up and not Appa. That would really suck. And then I guess we're gonna move on to a less interesting matchup, but I kind of almost have got more to say. HLE PSG. Yeah, if HLE don't win this one, it is insane. It is insane. Pros for HLE, they've got Peanut. He's gonna crush anyone who's supposed to lose to him, which is most of the teams in this tournament. Crush anybody who's gonna lose to him. Like, Peanut's not gonna get upset, in my opinion. Now, he did in Worlds 2022, but I just never felt like that was Peanut's fault. I was literally in that building. And I still don't think it was Peanut's fault. Yeah, I just don't think it was Peanut's fault. Anyway, they also have got Zeka, the guy who, incidentally crushed Peanut there. And I think Zeka is he's a player who gets a big world buff, and I'm gonna be really excited to watch him in this tournament. And Viper, maybe the best player in the world right now. I mean, Viper's insane. That game that they stole from Gen G to win the LCK finals was just, magnificent. It was literally Zeka and Viper backed into a corner, and they were like, it's cringe and all, but they liked those odds. They shredded Gen G, the best team in the world, the team that was supposed to be the golden goose, the golden road. It was all right in front of them, and Zeka and Viper just decided to just do so much damage. Yeah, incredible series. If you haven't watched that one, even if you know the ending, I really recommend watching that whole series because there's just so much gold in there. But yeah, fear the Viper. Fear the Viper. And fear his support. The Light might be the best one in the world. Especially after that LCK finals, I think there's a lot of good arguments for why the Light is going to be the best support in the world. And it's kind of a rel meta. And the Light is a really good rel. Personally, I never could really believe that Gen G would let that player go. In my eyes, he was kind of someone who was really making PaYS a lot better, but PaYS has still been pretty good. Anyway, the pros for PSG, the only one I could really come up with is the play-ins buff. That's not really an offense to PSG. They're a really strong team, and if they weren't playing HLE, I would be a lot more charitable in my interpretation of their ability to do that win, I suppose. And then I guess we can just go straight into the cons, because there's not really much more for PSG. Maple's a mega veteran. I never thought Maple was a guy that could elevate your team over the threshold to beat someone you're not supposed to beat, if that makes sense. The cons for HLE. Oh, Doran, you scare me. He scares me, man. Don't flash. That flash. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows the one. And then I also, and that's it. Just Doran. Just don't do me dirty, Doran. Just don't do your teammates dirty at international tournaments again. And then they may be on a bit of a championship honeymoon. Obviously, they did just win LCK, so we'll have to see. Obviously, they probably didn't get complacent or anything. These are hyper professionals, but I like to think that winning. Super Bowl hangovers are a real thing. So LCK championship hangovers probably a real thing as well. I guess time will tell. We'll have to see how their form is looking coming out of the gate. And they're also going to be cold on the patch, and PSG are going to be hot. So that's pretty much it for the cons for HLE here. And then the cons for PSG. This roster doesn't stack up to the Worlds roster. It really stinks, and they got a really bad luck draw here, right? Because they could have drawn, I believe they could have drawn FlyQuest or G2 as well, and those would have been hella winnable matchups for them. And then even BLG, I think, would have been a better matchup for them, considering that they're in the PCS, which is kind of regionally close enough to China to scrim other LPL teams. I'm not sure if they're scrimming BLG because they're kind of an elite LPL team. They probably only want to scrim other elite LPL teams and not anyone from like the PCS. But you never know, and they definitely are going to have kind of a higher familiarity with these rosters, at least, is what I am taking away from it, at least. And then we only have two more matchups: Fly and GAM, and G2 and Pain Gaming. These are the matchups I care about the least, and I didn't really write down a tremendous amount here. But for game one, we just need to see, Bwipo form, Masu form. How are they doing? Is Quad better than Quid? Or is QW blank D? Is that just a cursed naming setup? We'll have to find out. I think we just trust Inspired and hope they win. And then G2. There's like a weird rumor that is swirling around G2 that they're going to have a crazy roster next year. So that might put a lot of stress on the current G2 roster, especially if it's true. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for the second roundup. I know this one was probably a bit quicker. I'm not really looking at the runtime or anything, so it could actually be longer. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, that's great. If you didn't, I'm sorry. It's been the Curse Breaker. Thank you.